Welcome back, fight fans. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
And this is the home of all things boxing, the DAZN boxing show. And it went down in Saudi Arabia. No question about it. You know what we're here to talk about. AJ Ngannou on the opening bell. Look, Barak, let's set things off first with, I know that AJ was a slight favorite in this fight, but there were a lot of people out there that for some strange reason felt that Ngannou had a shot in knocking AJ out. I wasn't one of those guys. You can check the records. I said that he will knock Ngannou out viciously, and that he did in the second round. So the first thing I'm gonna pose to you, Barak, is I said it leading up to this fight. I said, look, I don't feel that Fury took him serious. I don't think he trained hard. I don't think we saw a typical Tyson Fury. And, people gave me a little heat for that. But in retrospect, do you feel that Tyson Fury took Ngannou lightly, or was it just stylistically Fury was better for Ngannou?
Well, I do think, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Anthony Joshua. Now, to answer your question, I do think, yeah, he probably took him lightly mentally in his mind before the fight, but I don't think he didn't train. I think we've seen muffin tops on him in his biggest fights, so.
Yeah, but that was an extra large muffin top that day. It wasn't regular.
I didn't know you was there to measure it, I just think that he always looks like that, but we've seen him look better as well. But regardless of the fact, whether you took him seriously or not, what does that mean, not taking him seriously? That means, to me, it means
not training hard.
Right, so it would be indicative in the fight. You'd see it in the fight. You would see him gas out or something like that.
I did see it.
Man, what round did Ngannou knock Tyson Fury down? In the third round. So you wasn't making him look bad the first and second round. That's what I'm trying to say. So this was a tough fight because of styles, because maybe you felt his power and you said, you know what, I don't want to follow through with these right hands. Boom, he rocked me in the third round. Fury was a little bit more tentative. I think it was just styles. Maybe he didn't really take him that seriously, but you still should have made him look bad if you're that much of a better fighter.
No question about that. Look, credit to Anthony Joshua for doing what he was supposed to do. But let's be honest, yes, Ngannou's still a threat. He's not experiencing boxing, but he was a fighter. He's a UFC heavyweight world champion. He knows how to fight, but it's different in this game, no question about it. I thought AJ looked sharp. I thought he timed him perfectly.
Yeah.
Just technically, he was just far beyond Ngannou, right? He saw the mistakes right away, right, and capitalized on them. And it was a very scary knockout. Now, but
look, I'm just not trying to take the credit away from Anthony Joshua by saying Fury didn't train hard. Also, Fury said himself he trained for that fight.
Right.
And Fury's the kind of guy that will gut out any fight anyway. Yeah. But for some reason, he was not sitting down on his right hand like he did against Deontay Wilder. Think about one thing is that the nerves that probably went through Fury's head when he got dropped is like, yo, I can't get caught with that again. Maybe I can't take a punch anymore since Deontay Wilder. A lot of things is going through his head. And the biggest thing of all, which we know is going through his head, is I can't lose to this guy. So maybe I can't take the chances that I would take against Deontay Wilder, because if I lose against him, it's okay.
Well, look, even though I said that it didn't seem like a typical Tyson Fury, I mean, that doesn't mean that Ngannou still wouldn't pose some problems for him because of the styles, right? I always said, look, Fury is not a guy that moves forward aggressively. He's just not his style. He's a counter puncher, and then maybe eventually, as he wears you down in a fight, he can probably be more aggressive. I know that AJ knows how to move forward and be aggressive. That's why I saw stylistically AJ knocking Ngannou out. Now, after the fight, AJ's always gracious. Like he knows how to speak, he knows what to say, and he was very encouraging to Francis Ngannou and told him to keep going, don't stop, don't get out of boxing. Now, I don't completely disagree with that, Barak, but I do feel that Ngannou has to go back to the drawing board and start like a new heavyweight, right? He needs to start fighting guys that have as many fights as he does, and not just dead bodies. I'm talking about real fighters, because this guy is an experienced combat sport athlete, but no, he should not be fighting champions and top contenders. He should be fighting guys that are heavyweights that maybe have several fights, or maybe a guy that has an amateur career but fighting a pro debut. Those are the fighters he should be fighting. So I do agree with AJ where he should continue to fight. There's nothing wrong with that. He has a PFL fight coming as well. He's fighting he's fighting a giant. So look, I'm happy for the guy making the money that he made. I don't disagree completely with AJ, but he should not be fighting a Fury, a Usyk, an AJ, or any of those guys. Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Hold on, let me give my opinion on that, because I kind of disagree. Now, the guys you just named, of course not, but you said not even top contenders. I don't agree with that. I feel like, first of all, he showed us a good account for himself against Fury. So that's why he deserved to be ranked, according to the WBC, in the top 10. He was ranked number 10. I think he even went up to number 9. So now obviously you slide down that ladder, getting knocked out by Joshua so soon. But I think because of his age, he's 30, going on 38 years old. I don't think he has the liberty to slide down way below the guys who are contenders. So imagine him and Joe Joyce fight. I think that's a great fight. Jarrell Miller, Fabio Wardley. I think he should stay in that realm. The contenders, the guy that are not too far from championship fights because of his age and because of how he did against Fury, and because he has a big name. There's no money involved in fights below that caliber of fighter.
No question about that, and I don't completely disagree with you. That might be a good approach, but here's the thing. If he goes out and fights Joe Joyce and gets knocked out again, it's a bad look. He's probably done.
Then that's it. That's okay.
No, but a guy like that, just because you had a good outing with 10 rounds against Fury, doesn't mean you're a top dog. That was one night.
No, you're not.
I think in order for him to compete with the Jarrell Millers of the world and the Joe Joyces of the world, he has to get some reps in. He has to get a few 6 and 8 rounders in with some.
No.
Wait, that doesn't.
That's not happening.
No, wait, that doesn't take a lifetime, Barak. That doesn't take.
It does. It does at 38 when you're about to fight Ferreira. Ferreira's a vicious 6'8" fighter. He's a vicious guy. He's about to fight Ferreira in the PFL.
Look, fine. Forget
Ferreira.
about that. We're talking boxing right now. I'm talking about this guy.
I can't forget about that.
He's going to be suspended in boxing for 90 days or so because he was knocked out, right? In the summertime, later this year, after the PFL fight, give me an 8-rounder with a guy with 10 fights, somebody where you can get some reps in and get comfortable in that boxing ring.
Bro, this is March.
Maybe 2 fights next year, another top guy. That's what
this is March. He's gonna fight Ferreira sometime this year, maybe the summertime. That's it. So you talking about boxing maybe December or next year.
No,
so it gotta be something.
No, not December. I mean, that PFL fight can end quickly.
He can get his arm broken. Anything can happen.
No,
he's fighting a monster who just beat the Bellator champion.
Well, there's contingencies in place that, like, depending on how he looks, you go out in September, you go out in November or December, and then next year let's start talking about some other big fights. But Barak, let's move on real quick. Put Ngannou to the side. Let's talk about what's next for Anthony Joshua. Phenomenal knockout performance. We know the fight that the world wants to see, especially that side of the world in the UK. Fury AJ is as big as any fight, right? It'll be the biggest fight in history on that side of the world, and it'll be one of the biggest fights in history in all of boxing. So I do feel that he has a big test ahead of him in Tyson Fury fighting Alexander Usyk. And Barak, let's not forget, there's 2 fights on the line here, right? If he should take Usyk's belts, there's a rematch clause. They're going to have to fight
I hate that.
Depending on how, listen, you hate that unless it was your fighter with the belts and losing the title, right? Because
that's one person. Then I would be. I hate that for the whole sport of boxing. Yes, if I was that one person that had the dog in the game, I'd feel that way. But
fighters and managers and promoters, they have to protect their fighter. They can't be one and done. So I'm
just telling you, I hate that. I'm a fan. I hate that. I'm sure you don't like it too. Stop it.
I don't love it if I want to fight, but I do understand it. I understand why it's put in place.
Well, no kidding. I understand it too. too, but I don't like it. I understand taxes too. You like taxes? I understand it.
Worst case scenario, if Usyk gets knocked out viciously, maybe that fight doesn't happen, a rematch, right? I don't see that happening. But let's say Fury does beat Usyk. He has to beat him again in order for us to see AJ versus Tyson Fury, right?
Right.
So in the meantime, we know that AJ likes to be busy. Look, he's just fought 4 times in a matter of how many months, Barak? So
11,
he's not
12.
going to be waiting. He's not going to be waiting and sitting duck. So who for Anthony Joshua? Look, Joseph Parker, big 2 wins, big 2 upsets. I'm not sure if I love that fight again. I'm not sure if I want to see AJ versus
Parker.
Joseph Parker again. But there are other fights out there. Maybe a Dubois, maybe a Joe Joyce. Maybe we wanted to see that fight in the past, right? I think Parker does deserve the fight. I'm saying personally, I mean, those
There
guys,
you go. See, you don't like something, but you understand it. You see, just like me. You don't like that fight, but you understand it.
Stylistically, bro, I don't think it's the best matchup. Stylistically, that's my opinion. But if you had to put it in front of me, and I had to say who deserves it the most, obviously it would be Joseph Parker for sure. Deserves that fight with AJ. But look, he might have to fight 2 times. So the question to you is, I mean, who should AJ's next 2 opponents be if you had it your way?
Well, I think I agree with you. I don't love that fight of Joshua versus Parker, but I think maybe we're going to have a different Joshua who's letting that right hand go, who's seeking and destroying. So with that being said, we might get a better fight. And look at the way Parker just fought Zhang. Wow. He didn't knock him out, but he was trying to. He was sitting down on those overhand rights. So we might get a good fight between Joshua and Parker. I know Parker is going to be a little more evasive because that right hand is deadly and straight and fast coming from Joshua. So I do feel like Parker 100% earned it. Yeah. But if Joshua doesn't want to see that fight because he's like, I already beat him. That's not a big fight. I can make more money fighting who? Deontay Wilder. Straight up and down. Why even go to Joy Joyce? You know, Deontay Wilder, because that's who the Brits and Americans wanted to see way back in 2017, 2018, even 2016, when Joshua first became champion. So I think that's still a big fight in waiting for another fight, and who knows who even wins that.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I like that fight first. I like that to be the next fight for Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. We know he still, wants to compete at this level, and I think that that's probably the next biggest fight in the heavyweight division, no question about it. But a lot of questions to be answered in the next couple of months. Obviously, we got in May Fury versus Usyk. That's going to answer a lot of questions. But I think before that fight happens, AJ will have another fight lined up and announced, and we'll find out in the next couple of weeks. All right, that's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.